What's up, guys? It's Eli, and I'm here with my friend Rocky Frizzell, and we are in Sylva, North Carolina at FX Self-Defense. This is a Clever Luciano training association, right? So the legendary Clever Luciano. Rocky was kind enough to have me in for a seminar today, and we were talking about, we started from north-south. We looked at some different ways to get to the back, some different ways to expose different submissions. We were talking right before this video. He was like, hey, let me get this one thing on video. I was like, well, let's just make a whole YouTube thing about it. So that's what we're gonna do now. Once we got to the back here, this is what's happening. I've essentially gotten here, and save your comments about us both wearing the same thing and how you can't really tell because we're both wearing black. I've heard it before, don't worry about it. So once we get here, a couple things that I want to keep in mind whenever I get to the back, I need to determine like which side I would prefer to go to. I may not get to go to the side I prefer, but if I prefer to go to a side, I want to go to the underhook side personally. It gives me a little bit more control, and here's why. Once we get to the side, I want to take, to get to the side, I want to take my feet across his body. I don't want to keep them centered here, because if we fall sideways right now, he's going to have an easy time just slipping out and away from me. So if he goes to dish his hips out right now, I'm losing control right away as soon as we do that. So a couple things to be able to maintain better control. I want to get this seat belt. I want to have it like slightly off center here so he doesn't have as easy of a time defending with his hands and hand fighting me. I want my feet over to the side. And as I fall, I want to turn and try to look at his face. Once I do that, I'm like looking up at him. So now what's happened is I'm a little bit more perpendicular to him. My head is between his head and the floor, making it harder to escape. When he goes to escape on this side, his shoulders tend to lead the way, and then his hips follow. So that means head has to go, then shoulders, then hips. So I'm blocking the route here initially. So once we get here, when I start to attack right away, the first thing I'm going to start to look to do is I want to go up and down. His hands are going to immediately start protecting his neck. So I want to go up and down. And what I mean by that is this one comes up to bug the choke. This one goes down to block one of the hands here. So once I'm blocking the south side hand, I want to try to grab the blade here by his pinky finger, and I want to push that down. Now, from here, he still has this hand defending. So a good way to try to eliminate that, what I like to do is I like to get heavy here on the elbow, and I want to cup and open this space here. So that creates a little bit of space for me to be able to step and throw this leg over and cut that arm away. I step over my own arm. This hand can come back in now, and I can finish one arm. If I'm going to finish with the one arm choke, it's not by squeezing, it's by cutting. So I'm going to grab this trap, I want to pull my elbow back toward my ribs, and then that's going to get that more cutting style choke like that. So this is one of the best paths here. If this is not getting the job done because he still has his chin to defend with, so if this is not getting it done, maybe I can face crank and get him to open up. But if not, I can either grab the wrist or tricep to be able to free this bottom arm, and now I'm going to punch back in, and then hopefully now I can get this short choke, which is going to be a little bit cleaner, a little harder for him to defend. So those are a couple of initial attacks that I can do from this position, trying to get in for the short choke or whatever. Now, a couple of other ones that might be a little less conventional, but a lot of other good options to be able to at least double threat with or get the submission itself is whenever we get to the side here and I go like this. What can happen sometimes here is that he's concentrating so much on defending this this choke or this choking hand around his neck that he's sleeping on this one a little bit. And what I've done is by grabbing this pinky knuckle is I can make a lot of pressure. And so I'm winging my elbow out, and I want to take and rotate this hand. I'm trying to put his pinky back here on his back. It's really nasty. It's a lot of pressure on the wrist, some pressure on the shoulder and the elbow. So it's a little bit of a double wrist lock, or it's a little bit of a wrist lock here and a little bit of a shoulder lock. So that can be a really nasty one here. If he doesn't like it, he can try to like muscle out of it and punch, and sometimes he can, but then that's going to free my arm to be able to go back inside and attack for that choke once again. So that's another good little one to throw in there. Some other things that we can look at to throw at him to be able to distract him and be able to set other things up is once I get to this position, I go up and down here like this. I want to try here. If he's doing a great job of defending his neck though, and he's not doing quite as good of a job here, he doesn't want me to choke him. But he doesn't mind if I take this hand away. If I take that hand away, I can bring it to this side here, and he's not as concerned about it. So I want to frame up like this. I want to pull this one back here this way, and then I want to bring my leg around here and then push the heel back to the floor, and then that's going to help me sit up. And now I'm back in this kind of spiderweb position to be able to attack for the arm lock. We're not going to go over all the different elements of like how I can free this if he's defending different ways, because there's a bunch of them. That's a whole other video I'll do some other time. But it gets me to that arm lock position. So again, really good way to double threat. Another thing that we can look to do from there too is once I get here, if I'm able to trap that here, but he's doing a good job and the angle is just not great for me to be able to go in and get that choke anymore, then what I can look to do from here is I can go back to this double wrist lock style grip here, this way, and then I want to take him, transfer to the other side. right? And now if I just try, I don't really have the momentum, so I'm gonna kind of arc that direction. Now, I can keep this or I can let it go to be able to arc that direction here. Once we do that, now we're sitting on this side. As we come up, this hand here that's underhooking his arm is gonna grab and pull my bottom side leg up here. As I do that, I'm framing to lift this arm to really expose the space under that armpit. I want to clamp down and close here. What I don't want is to close here and leave this foot dangling so that he can reach up with his legs and then pull my leg out and bust the connection open. So once I connect, boom, I step down here this way, and then whenever I feel like the coast is clear, I'm gonna hide the shoelaces behind his back like this. To go finish this, I can squeeze, but if you got skinny legs like me, it's gonna be difficult to finish it like that. So I'm gonna retract my hip like more like a technical stand-up here, and then sometimes that will get it. If I need extra help, I can lie down, push his head into the direction of the choke as I squeeze, and then hopefully with all those mechanics kind of tied together, then I'm gonna be able to get one of those to work. One more kind of honorable mention. This is one I like a whole lot. I catch it probably on more people than I should because I feel like it should be a lower percentage submission, but hey, it still works. So when we go here and I fall to the side and I'm gonna come around here, I wanna throw this leg over like this, but instead of going to sit up into the arm lock like before, I'm gonna bring this leg back and I'm gonna punch underneath his chin and underneath my leg. Once I get that here, I'm gonna use the cutting bone of the snuff box right here. I want a gable grip like this, and then I'm gonna crunch back with my heel and I'm gonna squeeze in tight, and I'm gonna get that little choke like that. So I'm using the blade of this arm, this calf, and then my hamstring on the back of his neck to finish that choke. One more time on that one. We go here. He doesn't mind that I pull my hand out like that, right? Because now his neck is free, ostensibly. I go here to frame away. I get the leg around, but instead of going straight for the arm lock, I'm gonna come back, punch through. There's the hand there. I gable grip the two hands together, and then I squeeze, and it's nasty choke here. It's kind of like a modified go-go clinch. I don't know what to call it, but it's a really cool choke, and if it works, it works. If not, maybe I can go back to the arm lock on the other side or some other kind of option. So these are some of the options that we explored today, in addition to a lot of other north-south stuff that's coming soon too. And Rocky, I appreciate you having me out, brother.
Yes, sir.
If you're in Silver, North Carolina, and you need a place to train here, then you should come to FX Self-Defense. I almost drew a blank for a second because I was thinking all the different stuff they do here. You guys do Krav Maga, you do Jiu-Jitsu, you do what else? Muay Thai. You got everything you need in one place. Silver, North Carolina, FX Self-Defense. Appreciate Rocky Brazil. Thank you guys for watching Night Jiu-Jitsu channel. Like, subscribe, share, all that stuff that you're supposed to do.